All right, welcome back. So today we're actually going to look at Java, and we're going to talk about the Java programming language, and this will be the first video in basically a set of tutorials about how to use the Java language. So let's just go across a couple different things here of what Java looks a little bit different than other programming languages. It's a little older than, let's say, Python or some of the other languages. But it's still an incredibly powerful and popular language that's used quite a bit today. So just the one thing that you'll notice, you'll have this class here. I just named it Practice. It's just Java is an object-oriented language, so there's different things, objects you can create, and then they interact with each other just to kind of keep it pretty simple. And then you'll see this public static void main. You'll see this often. Essentially, this public part means that it's a method that can be used throughout the program. Later on, as we talked about that it's object-oriented, you can create other types of methods, and they can be private so that they are not shared within the program but just used within itself. And then we'll just talk about a couple different things here. So I'm going to skip over the static for right now. We're going to talk void. Void means that it will not return a value, so like numbers and things like that. It's just meant to be used as the program and not return a value. And then the main is the main entry point for the program. Okay? All right, so let's talk about Java. We're going to start pretty simple here. We're just going to tab this down. The one thing you will have to really focus on with Java is you're going to have to watch these brackets. A lot of times, the bigger the program gets, you're going to want to make sure that these brackets line up. So I have this one here, and you can hopefully see that this one's outlined here, and then this one's here and outlined here. So I'm not going to write outside of this void main. I'm going to keep my text within this. If I happen to write something down here and start typing it, that means it's not going to be part of this void main, so I want to make sure that I keep it within these brackets. Okay, so let's get started here. We're just going to kind of write a couple print lines, basically just a couple lines of code. And when we use Java, when we want to print a line of code, we're going to do System.out.println, and that means that this you're telling it that the system is going to print something out. It's going to be a printed line, and we're going to print that to the screen essentially. And then you're going to put a bracket here, or a quotation mark, or a bracket, basically. That's what I call them. Parentheses maybe would be better. And then you have quotes. And then I'm just going to say that Java is awesome. Okay. So when I run this, it's just going to print out this line of code right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. And see, I already got a mistake here. There's an error. Now the nice thing about this online compiler that I'm using, it'll tell me kind of, hey, there's an error right here. And a lot of times in different programs that you're using to write Java, it might not tell you. So in this particular one, I do have to always end my line with a semicolon, like this. Okay, every line like this has to be ended with a semicolon. That way it tells the language as we're writing this that when it gets to the end of this, okay, this is the end of this command, and go ahead and run this. So now when I run this, it's successful and Java is awesome. If I want to do another line, oops, and we'll just do the same exact thing. We'll just do this one as amazing, just so we can kind of see. Then I got to go over here and make sure I put my semicolon. Okay, so if I run this, I should have 2 lines of code here, and I do. Java is awesome. Java is amazing. Now, one thing about programming, like if I hit enter here and create a couple spaces and run this, what you'll find is it won't have this in here because it does not see this space. So I could have this all the way down the page. It would only see this line of code and this line of code. Okay, so what we want to do then is if I want to add a line of code here, I can do that and just add a new print line, oops, like this. And if I run that, I I get a blank line, okay? Because now I printed a line that had nothing in it, okay? But it's going to go ahead and print that. Think of this as like a, an enter or something like that. Okay, so this is kind of how you print lines of text in Java. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You do have to remember that you capitalize this system. If I were to lowercase this, it would notice how this is a different color. It would actually error this for me. Okay, because, and it's telling me, hey, this does not exist because it does not see this as a capital S. Okay. All right, so hopefully this helps. This is kind of how you print lines in Java. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and hopefully that helps you. Good luck.